Hello everybody, welcome back. So I'm going to go into a brief but hopefully informative prediction, I'd say, based on technical analysis to explain that we're about to see a great rotation. Alright, so when there's a lot of money that falls out of Bitcoin and into altcoins, it's called the great rotation, and we're about to see one of those shortly. Now, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. We're in a descending channel, I suppose. You could argue that we're being rejected from the top of the channel, or you could argue that we're being rejected from the 200 exponential on the weekly. Okay, so currently this looks very bullish with these other indicators like MACD and things like that, but we are seeing a curling over, and we're likely to see a curling over shortly, which means that the rotation is likely to begin quite soon. Now this is how it's going to happen, okay, and the way that this works is usually when it happens, the strong altcoins move first, and then after that the smaller cap coins move after, and they usually move to a much larger extent. So you'll start to see big pumps with Ethereum, Litecoin, Chainlink, even XRP. They're all going to start to feel these big pumps soon, because the rotation is likely to begin when we reach around about 67 to 68% dominant. That's when the massive alt season will begin, and it'll be huge. It'll be absolutely massive. It'll be absolutely massive, similar to the one that we saw after the March crash, where alts really exploded across the board. You're going to see something pretty much like that, maybe even more explosive than that. So this is how it'll happen. So we'll reach this level here. We're not quite there yet. This is what I think, and this is why I think it's going to happen quite soon. This is Bitcoin, okay, the Bitcoin chart, rallying all the way up to what I think is going to be the top, around about 17,200. 17,200 corresponds to these two areas over here, where prior to the tippy top of the parabolic run, we were rejected here. We also broke down to it and rejected here, and then when we bounced back up to it, we were rejected here. Now these rejections are quite significant. Even when we were rallying up to it the first time, when we pulled back from it in the space of basically 24 hours, it was 27% down. Tragic. Then on this occasion here, this wick here, just from that wick to this bottom bit here, it was 18, almost 19%, and you follow that through to the next day, 24-hour period again, 36% down, and then finally when we get to the top, all the way up to the top about it on that relief rally, just in a couple of days it was down 25%, and about a week later it was down 47%, and finally all the way down to 65%. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen when we reach this top here. All I'm saying is that there is a very strong chance that this is the top, because it corresponds to those levels. I'm not saying that we're going to retrace by even 25%. We could retrace by, well, we'll measure it out now. There is a chance that we could pull back to this this level here, which is about 23%. The reason I say that is that this level here is a trend line that we were supported and rejected from for about 3 years now, and even if we go back to when we first broke out above it, I mean before we broke above it, rejected from it here, that was all the way down to that bottom bit there, that was a 40% retracement. You see these candles don't look much, but they really are. When we finally broke above it, up down to test it, all the way down to test it, 10%, and then so on and so on and so on. Oops, getting ahead of myself there. Up down to test it, and then big move up, which is where I think we are right now, similar to this kind of move now. So we think we're going to the moon, and then we get to the certain level, and then we come back down to retest it, and then only then do we launch a 29%, almost 30% move, and then we rally about 250%. So we are on that trend line now. We've broken above it for the first time in this year. We came up and we came back down to test it. Sorry about this. Up down here and then down to essentially test it. We're riding this level up here, which is the 10 exponential moving average, which is super bullish. Absolutely, definitely bullish, but we'll get to this level. That's when things will get interesting, and that's where I think the rotation will begin. And again, what will happen is this will get here, it will smash back down. As this falls down, it will bring altcoins with it. That will bring the dominance up, because the alts usually fall at a lot larger rate. They will lose much more of their gains much faster, allowing the dominance to poke itself up here, and only when that happens will the rotation truly begin. The rotation at the moment is still pending, so the alt season is pending until we reach this level. So again, that level is likely to be created in the wake of a dump. I know it sounds silly, but as everything drops, this goes up, and when that hits that level, everything alt will rise big time.
So what we're looking at here, we're looking at things like XRP at the moment, sort of I suppose neither here nor there in its in moving into a box here, which is of some significance, and it has every chance at the moment to reach all the way up to 31 cent before it rejects. But then once this area is broken, it will really go crazy. We were talking 40 odd cent, maybe into the 50 cent margin in this great rotation period. Ethereum, a very interesting one, kind of looking like a messy Bitcoin. This one does look a little bit top heavy at the moment. I think this one will come back down, probably down to around about $400, and then from there it will launch, and we'll be talking areas of around about $700, whereas this leads us up to about $835 by the end of this next rotation period. Litecoin has really rallied already today, so it's really jumping the gun already. Again, you know, this will come back down certainly, but we're riding at the moment on the top of, just similar to that of Ethereum, Bitcoin. We're trying to maintain this structure above the 10 exponential, and then when the great rotation takes place, it will take place in the wake of a dump. This will bring us down to probably maybe around $55 again. Maybe it will, but it is looking very strong at the moment, and there's nothing to say it's going to slow down either. And this sorry little chart here is the Bitcoin Cash one, which unfortunately is yet to feel any kind of excitement in it at all. It's not even above the poor old 200 exponential. In fact, it's looking quite bearish. But this one I think will rise quite dramatically, and we just need that pump to bring us above this level. Once we're above this level, I think we will be looking at big moves again. We'll be looking at some of these previous highs around $400 to $500. But again, it's not going to happen until the dominance takes its top off, which is going to be around 68, between 67.5% to 68% dominance. Once that is reached, then we'll start to see the great rotation, the alt season to beat all. Well, it was not going to beat all alt seasons, but it will beat several alt seasons that we've seen in the past. It'll be pretty significant. So at the moment, you might be thinking, what shall I do right now? Well, you could look at getting ready to short, I suppose. Get yourself onto Bityard, shorting some coins on Bityard. There's some, even if you don't do margin trades, you can copy pro traders out there. For some reason mine's not coming up, but they're working on that. For some reason it's not displaying, but I've noticed that there are some copy traders out there that you can copy, which basically have a 100% success rate, so you might as well copy some of those guys. And basically you set your account up to automate their trades, and you just let that happen. If you're looking for another way to make passive income during this period, you can go to Bitsgap. I've made a tutorial on this just today. This is my new little baby where I'm basically getting bots to do all the trading for me. Just for an example, I set this bot up 5.5 hours ago, and it's already accumulated me almost 8% extra Bitcoin that I didn't have 5 hours ago. So again, this is another thing that basically allows for passive income. You don't need to trade to be able to do this. You can just watch my tutorial, set the bots up. You can use this account for free. You get 14 days of a pro account just for setting the account up, and if you just want to carry on with a single bot, it's free. Or you could stagger different types of payments. You could go for the basic package for $20. Either way, it's definitely worth doing, because there's absolutely no way that I would have been able to make 160 trades in the space of 5.5 hours, and I would never have been able to accumulate that much more Bitcoin, especially when Bitcoin is the leader at the moment, taking those rallies. So yeah, get yourself signed up to all of these accounts, and the links are below. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day, and I'll leave you to it. And roll on alt season, shall we? Roll on alt season. Take it easy, everybody.